Peace and Pan-Africanism, peace and Pan-Africanism. So the time is 6:30, and basically all it is, I just wanted to touch base on current events which are going on around the world. You know, there is seismic events which are going on, which is life changing. Which which affects normal daily people and general people. Um, you know. So basically, I'm speaking. I'm talking about what's the current events which have been taking place in the Middle East, and there was a next event in in South America. In South America, yeah. So I don't need to spell it out for you. You already know what's going on. It's littered all over social media, um, the news, and everything else. So I'm talking in regards to the America, Israel, and Iranian war. You know, them two nations going back and forth. You know, so I mean, what I want to touch on is that basically, um, I mean, where I stand with this is that it's not correct. I don't see morally, yeah, morally and righteously. If you think about it, it's not correct. Was the events which have taken place, with um, with Israel and America attacking and killing um, the Iranian supreme leader. Yeah. Now, that's absolutely, in terms of moral sense, that's wrong, because it's really just like, for example, me going into someone's house, then like attacking someone's dad, yeah, and killing someone's like dad, killing someone's mum and dad in their house. Me going there. So if you put it in them terms, in terms of what America, the acts which America has just put out, that's what it's really like. It's like you're going into someone's house, yeah, their house and their backyard, and actually, just committing committing a crime, and which is absolutely not correct. So I mean, that's where I stand with that. No matter what it is, no matter what, I don't know the circumstances with Iranians. I've not come across. I've not had any negativities. I've not had any. I don't know, but all I know in terms of the moral compass, yeah, I know that's not correct. That's not right. You know. So yeah, that's my take on that. But there's other things that I want to touch on as well, which is right now there's a passage which you probably heard about this, which is called the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, the Straits of Hormuz. Now that is it's a very very key point. Yeah, it's a very very key point in terms of the world world economics, world geopolitics. Uh, that strait there, uh, there's a lot of things that go through that strait. There's a lot of things. Yeah. So some examples being, you probably know this, but there's a lot of goods there. Oil and gas being the main things, but there's a lot of other things that go through there as well. You know. So I mean, what's happening here is that it's a it's a major thing. It's a global thing which does affect you. You know, you may think it doesn't affect you, but believe you me, it affects you. It affects you as a general normal person going about your daily life. And I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it affects you. Yeah. So basically, a lot of countries around the world use the Straits of Hormuz, and a lot of countries around the world get their oil and they get their gas from the Straits of Hormuz. Yeah. Well, at the moment, it's closed. Yeah. At the moment, the Iranians they've had enough, and from the looks of it, they've got the key points. They've got that power in that region. They control a majority of that. I think they control 100% of that actually. So they have closed it off. So what that means for places like Europe, where we're in Europe, you may think that Great Britain is not a part of Europe because they've come out of the EU and everything else, but technically they're part of that continent. They're still a part of that continent. So now Europe have been going through an energy crisis. Yeah, from the last time I done my analytical research, yeah, looking into certain things, Europe has been going through a bit of an energy crisis in terms of where the Ukraine and Russian war, which has been going on, there has been supplies which has been cut off and terminated. And I mean, Europe depend on Russia for a lot of their energy. Yeah, a lot of their gas and a lot of that they depend on that. Yeah, and basically they're not in good terms with Russia anyway. Yeah, they're not in good terms. They're all fighting. They're all like in terms of geopolitics and everything else. There's like disagreements and so on and so forth. But I mean, what's happened around the world is made Russia obviously think they're thinking to themselves that they need to cut this oil supply to Europe off. They need to cut it off. So that's what they're possibly looking to do. But Europe depends on the Straits of Hormuz. They get a lot of oil. There's a lot of businesses there, a lot of contracts, a lot of multinationals, that do business in that region there. And with that being cut off, basically there's going to be a mass economic like collapse. Basically, there's going to be an economic collapse or a economic shakeup. Yeah, because how it affects like normal people like you and me is that basically corporate companies, yeah, let's just say for example where you work, yeah, corporate companies, they depend on cheap gas and cheap oil to keep the lights running and everything else. That's all part of it. Keep the energy supply going and everything else. So they rely on that. They rely on that a lot, and in terms and shipments as well. Yeah, in terms of that shipments, ships going up and down. They use a lot of a lot of energy, a lot of oil, a lot of gas, and everything else. Yeah. So with the Straits of Hormuz closed, yeah, and with no energy, with no gas and oil coming through, that in terms makes out for a demand for oil. So the prices have gone up. So when the prices go up, there is inflation. Yeah, inflation meaning your daily food that you go and purchase gets more expensive. Yeah, like your bread, sugar, your milk and everything else. Yeah, basically everything. So you're gonna see some type of price increase. Yeah, and it's already high. It's already high because of the Russia and Ukraine war. So the inflation is kind of high already, but it's gonna go up more. There's good, because of that that war that's happened in that region. There's a lot of things which have been shut off. A lot of oil which has been shut off. So the prices are gonna go up. And my message to you is to get prepared. Yeah, to get prepared, because there's going to be um like a global collapse. So my message to you is to stock up on things. Yeah, I'm being serious. Stock up on things. Stock up on essentials. Stock up on food, because you might go to the shops and you'll see that things are running out, or because of shipments as well. You got to think this is like a ricochet, because there's a lot of things that go through there as well. A lot of other things like wheat, bread, and all these type of things that we use on a daily basis. So and it's gonna definitely have some type of an effect on your daily life and your daily living and everything else, in terms of even buying petrol, buying gas for your vehicle, and your daily activity. So I'm telling you now, it's crunch time basically. Within the next couple of weeks, you'll start feeling the effects of the Straits of Hormuz being closed. Yeah. So what my message to you, yeah, as an adult, having to do the right thing, yeah, my message to you is to stock up, buy a couple of things, because I don't know, I don't know what's going to happen in terms of energy, in terms of your electricity coming through. I don't know. We're going to have blackouts. I don't know. It's that serious. It's that serious where we might have, certain blackouts and everything else. Because, yeah, what is obviously going on around the world is a major thing, real major thing, and the longer it goes on, the worse it is for people, families, and everything else. So yes, so these events which are happening in terms of America, I mean, the way it's going to affect America is that America, they print out a lot of money, and you probably have heard about this from some type of source or something, some type of outlet or social media. But what they do is that they've got they had a contract with Saudi Arabia, and that contract is between Saudi Arabia and America, was that everyone was gonna come to Saudi Arabia and purchase oil using the dollar, and that was the deal. And both of them, nations, they've benefited greatly from that. That's how America has been able to, grow as a economy into the powerhouse that they are, and that's how Saudi Arabia, they've managed to get so rich, because that deal there, Saudi Arabia, they control a lot of the world's oil and gas. output. They control a lot of it, you know. So that dollar is like a universal, it's like a universal currency. Let me just put it in layman's terms for you. It's like a universal currency where everyone needs it. Yeah, everyone needs it to trade. Everyone needs it to buy goods and everything else. So what happens is that basically America print out a lot of money. Yeah, they print out a lot of dollars. Then, you know, basically people purchase the dollar from the world. They actually purchase the dollar, you know. So they print it out, people purchase it, go and buy their oil and everything else. Then they've got a deal where Saudi Arabia will invest back. Yeah, so a lot of people come to Saudi Arabia, buy a lot of oil with a dollar, then Saudi Arabia invest in stocks. They buy shares in America. Yeah. That's how they've been able to make their money, you know. And that's how America has been able to dodge like inflation, because everyone else, they buy their stocks, which puts down inflation in their economies. But what's happened within the last couple of, like, you know, years, the demand for the dollar has really gone down. So there's no need, there's no need for dollar printing as before. So people don't really depend on a dollar that much. They don't depend on a dollar that much as they used to, maybe say 10 years ago or 20 years ago. So there's a less demand for the dollar. Yeah. And what's happened now, this is where things get tricky for America as well, because where the Straits of Hormuz has closed, and it's cut off. Basically, there's no shipments of oil. It's on a halt, basically. So they've got money circulating at the moment, which is just there, which is it's no use. They got money circulating around the world, which people can't really use, you know. So the longer that Strait of Hormuz goes on for, you know, the worse it is in terms of inflation for America, because that money has to like circulate back to somewhere. It has to go back to somewhere, you know, and it always goes. It's going to go back to the original point because it's a dollar. You understand? If there's no use, there's no need for the dollar anymore. It has to go back somewhere, and it circulates. It's going to circulate back to America, which then that's where the inflation, like, you know, kicks in, because you got money, in your system, which, you know, you just got money in your system. You're just printing money in your system, and there's no use for it, you know. So that's where inflation comes in for them, and that's where their economy could collapse. So that's why this thing here, this war here, people are saying that it's stupid and it's kind of senseless, you know. But we don't know. Let's see how it plays out. So, yeah, family, that's my message to you. My message to you is to stock up on things. Make sure you stock up on food, stock up on essentials. And my other message to you as well, because of this war that's happened, where Iranians, they believe in martyrdom. I'm not saying it right, but it's martyrdom. Yeah, that's it. So basically, what that is, they believe in sacrificing themselves for their beliefs. It is deep rooted. It's deep. It's a deep religious practice. Yeah. Now they believe in going all out for their beliefs, for their rights. Yeah. Which means self-sacrifice. Basically, you know, in terms of going to the extreme lengths, you know, for your rights, and basically dying for your rights, you know, whatever cause, you know, that's what they believe in. That's deep rooted in their religion, you know, fighting for your rights, and you know, just upholding, you know, certain values, you know, man, not letting people like walk over you. Yeah, so that's what they believe in. So my warning to you is that where America and Israel, yeah, they have obviously gone and killed the supreme leader of Iran. You have to be really careful, because I'm telling you now, don't be shocked. A week's time, 2 weeks time, you start hearing about terrorist incidents, or certain people blowing themselves up. So my message to you is keep your family safe. Be alert. Be very, very alert when you're going about in the streets. Yeah, on a public transport. Be alert, because it's weary times. I'm telling you, it's weary times that we live in. It's weary times. And the thing is, we don't have any control over this. It's very weary times. So please, keep alert, keep extra alert. And yes, when you're out and about, just be careful, because there is a lot of Muslims, and there's a lot of Iranians as well. Not just Iranians, but there's a lot of people who who may feel a certain way because of what America and Israel have done. And America and Israel are part of the Western society. They're part of the Western world. Western world being in America, Europe, so and all them. Yeah. So there's gonna be people who feel like who feel hurt, who feel a certain way, who might want to go and commit certain acts. Yeah. So my message to you is, please be careful, be alert when you're out and about. Yeah. So that's my message to you. I'm gonna do the same thing as well. Weary times that we live in. When I do go out, that comes into my head. I'm very wary. It's scary times. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah. So that's my message to yourself. And I've got to say, this is what this community is about: sharing information, sharing knowledge. Yeah. Being collective. Yeah. And doing what adults do. Yeah, this is what adults are meant to be doing, like sharing the right type of information, and just bringing that awareness, awareness that is much needed. Yeah, some awareness that maybe people might not tell you until it's too late. The social media might not alert you on these type of things until it's too late. Yeah, so this is what it's about. So please, if there is anything that you like to share, please do share any information, anything at all. Anything that's gonna be beneficial to us as a collective. So peace and Pan-Africanism.